All members, if you please come to the floor. All members come to the floor. We'll see if we can get going here. I think rules are still meeting. The hour convening having arrived, all members will please come to the floor and take their seats. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? We're going to dispense with the roll call at this time. Our Rules Committee is still meeting, so members, I'll ask you all to come to the floor and take your seats. All members come to the floor and take your seats. Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors? Will you close those doors and keep them locked, please? And you can just keep them closed. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. I enjoyed meeting our chaplain this morning, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy his message today. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 51st House District, Representative Esther Panich. Representative Panich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Shalom, y'all. Come on. Shalom, y'all. Thank you. Rabbi Adam Starr has served as the rabbi and spiritual leader of Congregation Or HaTorah in Atlanta since 2008. Under his leadership, the congregation has grown in membership and built a brand new, state-of-the-art synagogue, the first Orthodox synagogue in the world, constructed from the ground up according to environmentally sustainable standards. Rabbi Starr received his rabbinical ordination from the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary at Yeshiva University in New York. He has served as on the executive committee of the Rabbinical Council of America and is a past president of the Atlanta Rabbinical Association. While Rabbi Starr is not my congregational rabbi, he is a friend and a teacher. And he also was the one who put up the mezuzah on my office door post. A mezuzah is a parchment inscribed with Hebrew verses. Come by and visit, and I'll be happy to show you the mezuzah. Please welcome Rabbi Adam Starr.
Thanks for taking time to come.
Thank you so much. Shalom. Good morning, esteemed representatives. It is an honor to stand before you today as the chaplain of the day and to open this session with words of prayer and inspiration. Thank you to my dear friend, Representative Esther Panich, for this special honor and invitation. As you will soon hear, Esther's strong and courageous leadership carries on the legacy of her biblical namesake, Queen Esther. In just a couple weeks' time, Jewish people around the world will be reading the whole Megillah from the scroll of Esther and celebrating the joyous holiday we call Purim. The Purim story recalls a time when the Jewish people scattered throughout the Persian Empire faced an existential threat. Haman, the king's advisor, devised a genocidal plan to annihilate the Jewish people simply because they were different. He cast lots, or Purim, to determine the date of their destruction, believing that fate was on his side. But fate was not the deciding force. Courage was. Our heroine, Queen Esther, who had hidden her Jewish identity, was called upon to risk her own safety and life by outing herself as a Jew, to plead to her husband, King Ahasuerus, for her people's survival. She was initially hesitant, but her cousin Mordecai urged her with these powerful words that ring so true today. For if you remain silent and at this time, relief and deliverance will perish from the Jews from another. Relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. And who knows if it was for such a time as this that you attained royalty. Upon hearing this, Esther spoke up with courage and moral clarity, thereby saving the Jewish people from genocidal annihilation. This verse reminds us that there are moments in history when silence is not an option, when injustice threatens the vulnerable, when evil seeks to destroy. We are called to act with moral courage. Today, this lesson resonates very deeply. The story of Purim reminds us that hatred against any people, left unchecked, can lead to violence and death. It is a call to all of us to stand up against bigotry in any form. But today, I speak on behalf of my people and your Jewish constituents, we are not okay. We have been reeling since October 7th, 2023, with the brutal murders, rape, and abductions of our Israeli brethren by the blood-filled hands of Hamas. Those painful wounds were reopened this week with the return of the dead bodies of the Bibas family, of Mother Shiri and her young children, Kfir, aged 4, and Ariel, who was less than a year old, who were brutally murdered with bare hands by Hamas, returned to be buried by their father, Yarden, who was just released a couple weeks ago after 500 days of being held hostage in Gaza. And there are still 59 innocent hostages who remain in captivity in Gaza, including American citizens, brutally torn from their families, enduring unimaginable anguish. We are also witnessing a frightening rise in anti-Semitism across the world, even here in Georgia, and especially across college campuses in this very country. We cannot be silent. Their plight is a painful reminder. Our plight is a painful reminder that hatred and violence still exist in our world. Like Esther, we must raise our voices on their behalf, and I implore you to let your Jewish constituents hear your voice in our time of pain. As the Georgia homegrown hero and prophetic voice of Dr. King taught the world, and I quote, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." Your voice means so much to us, more than you can ever imagine. Please rise and let us pray. Almighty God, source of justice and mercy, we turn to you in these halls of law and justice. Grant wisdom and strength to the leaders gathered here, that they may govern with compassion and a steadfast commitment to righteousness. May they, like the biblical hero Esther, recognize the power of their positions to bring hope and healing to those in need. May we never be silent in the face of evil. May we stand together, people of all faiths and all backgrounds, united against bigotry and intolerance and hatred. May you make the world a better place by best serving the people you are here to represent. Bless this great state of Georgia and all who labor to uphold the values of freedom, dignity, and justice. In the face of darkness, may we be bearers of light. In the presence of hatred, may we stand for love and peace. And may we each recognize that, like Queen Esther, perhaps we have been placed in this place and position for such a time as this. And let us say, Amen. We will now turn and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Don.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
Opportunity.
Good message.
Members, you can join Rabbi Starr in the South Annie room for a photo and greet him and thank him for being with us today. We appreciate your message, Rabbi. Doorkeepers, you may open the doors. Members, our doctor of the day is Dr. Catherine West. Dr. West was invited here today by Representative Lee Hawkins, Dr. Lee Hawkins as well. So we appreciate her service, and if you need her, any of her attention should be downstairs in the aid station. Chair recognizes Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits. Chairman Hilton.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have a very big audience today, but I'm going to tell you your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day, and we found it to be just okay and all correct. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Hilton. You don't need a big audience to read, so you're doing a good job there. Full attention. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Hearing none, the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Administration of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to adopting the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk, will you read?
House Bill 657 by Representative Hagan of the 156th, Dempsey of the 13th, Cameron of the 1st, Buckner of the 137th, Willis of the 55th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 37 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to mental health.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 658 by Representative Holcomb of the 101st, Hughley of the 141st, Miller of the 62nd, Owell of the 50th, Draper of the 90th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 24, Title 33 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to insurance generally.
Insurance.
House Bill 659 by Representative Green of the 154th, Taylor of the 173rd, Hawkins of the 27th, Jaspers of the 11th, Hagan of the 156th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 34, Title 31 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to medical professionals for rural assistance.
Rural Development.
House Bill 660 by Representative Cox of the 28th, Jaspers of the 11th, Rice of the 139th, Scoggins of the 14th, McDonald III of the 26th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 18 of Title 45, Chapter 4 Title 49, and Chapter 1 of Title 50 of the official code of Georgia Annotated relating to the employees' insurance and benefit plans.
Insurance.
House Bill 661 by Representative Byrd of the 20th, Kahanian of the 81st, Barrett of the 24th, Ridley the 22nd, Chastain of the 7th, and others. A bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to elections and primaries generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 662 by Representative Osteen of the 169th and Ford of the 170th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 31, 8, and 9.1 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to eligibility to receive tax credits.
Health.
House Bill 663 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Powell of the 33rd. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 12, 9, 46 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to powers and duties of the Board of Natural Resources.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 664 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Reeves of the 99th, Panitch of the 51st, Hilton of the 48th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to property owners associations.
Judiciary.
House Bill 665 by Representative McCollum of the 30th, Cooper of the 45th, Taylor of the 173rd, and Efstration of the 104th. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 2A, Chapter 3 of Title, and Chapter 5 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions of the Department of Public Health.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 666 by Representative Douglas of the 78th, Neal of the 79th, Leverett of the 123rd, Smith of the 18th, Flournoy of the 74th. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 15.6.2 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the number of judges of superior courts.
Judiciary.
House Bill 667 by Representative Anderson of the 10th, Irwin of the 32nd, Campbell of the 15th, Scoggins of the 14th, Bonner of the 73rd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Article 7 of Chapter 5 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to commercial driver's licenses.
Judiciary.
House Bill 668 by Representative Thomas of the 21st, Seaball of the 34th, Washburn of the 144th, McCollum of the 30th, Dempsey of the 13th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 16, Chapter 4, Title 30, and Chapter 6 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to crimes and offenses.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 669 by Representative Meeks of the 178th, Burchett of the 176th, Hagan of the 156th, and Corbett of the 174th. Bill be titled an act to amend Part 10 of Article 6 of Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to capital outlay funds.
Education.
House Bill 670 by Representative Clark of the 108th, Hughley of the 141st, Carter of the 93rd, Evans of the 57th, Holcomb of the 101st. A bill be titled an act to amend Titles 8, 10, 34, 35, 45, and 50 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to buildings and housing.
Judiciary.
House Bill 671 by Representative Rice of the 139th, Fleming of the 114th, McDonald III of the 26th, Kelly of the 16th, Smith of the 18th, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 1 of Title 51 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions as pertaining to torts.
Judiciary.
House Bill 672 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Bazemore 69th, Miller the 62nd, and Bennett the 94th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 2A of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to Department of Public Health.
Public and Community Health.
House Bill 673 by Representative Lim of the 98th. A bill be titled Act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 10 of Title 17 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to procedure for sentencing and imposition of punishment.
Judiciary. Juvenile.
House Bill 679 by Representative Sanchez of the 42nd, Fry of the 122nd, Cummings of the 39th, Bell of the 75th, and Taylor of the 92nd. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 8 of Title 13 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to illegal and void contracts generally.
Judiciary.
House Bill 680 by Representative Sanchez of the 42nd, Tran of the 80th, Howe of the 50th, Clark of the 108th, Schofield of the 63rd, and others. Bill be titled an act to amend Title 34 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to labor and industrial relations.
Industry and Labor.
House Bill 681 by Representative Clark of the 108th, Cannon of the 58th, Renner of the 85th, Barnes of the 86th. Bill be titled an act to amend Chapter 12 of Title 19 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to name changes.
Judiciary.
House Resolution 426 by Representative Schofield, the 63rd, Jackson, the 68th, Davis, the 87th, Cannon, the 58th, Bernauer, the 77th, and others. A resolution urging the General Assembly to support the creation of a Black Maternal Health Caucus.
Public and Community Health.
House Resolution 427 by Representative Werkheiser of the 157th and Meeks of the 178th, a resolution honoring the life of Dr. Esco Hall, Jr. and dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 428 by Representative Reese of the 140th, Hughley the 141st, Buckner the 137th, Smith the 138th, and Rice of the 139th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on the affordability and accessibility of Georgia's legitimation process.
Judiciary.
House Resolution 429 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Parsons of the 44th, Renner of the 85th, Crowe of the 118th, Cannon of the 172nd, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on funding for Next Generation 911.
Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications.
House Resolution 448 by Representative Jones, the 60th, a resolution recognizing Women's Golf Week in the state of Georgia.
Special rules.
Senate Bill 42 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th, Eccles of the 49th, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Payne of the 54th, Strickland of the 42nd, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 16.6.13 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to penalties for violating code sections.
Judiciary, non-civil.
Senate Bill 69 by Senator Kennedy, the 18th, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson of the 29th, Anna DeVarte of the 31st, and Hatchett of the 50th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Title 7 and Article 5 of Chapter 11 and Title 9 in the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to banks and finance.
Rules.
Senate Bill 101 by Senator Robertson of the 29th, Hatchett of the 50th, Payne of the 54th, Williams of the 25th, Still of the 48th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 12 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to control of hazardous conditions.
Public and Community Health.
Senate Bill 131 by Senator Hodges of the 3rd, Watson of the 1st, Still of the 48th, Dixon of the 45th, Goodman of the 8th, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Chapter 10 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Georgia Board of Health Care Workforce.
Regulated Industries.
Senate Bill 141 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th, Huffstetler of the 52nd, Albers of the 56th, Kennedy of the 18th, Anna DeVarte of the 31st, and others. Bill be titled an Act to amend Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to revenue and taxation.
Ways and Means.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 619 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to amend an act providing a new charter for the city of Donaldsonville. House Bill 620 by Representative Cahayan of the 81st, Clark of the 100th, Campbell of the 171st, Martinez of the 111th, Reeves of the 99th, and others. A bill relating to holidays and observances. House Bill 621 by Representative Baker of the 64th, Henderson of the 113th, Cummins of the 39th, Glaze of the 67th, McLean of the 109th, and others. A bill relating to general provisions regarding the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. House Bill 622 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, a bill to amend an act providing a new charter for the city of Hoboken. House Bill 623 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Howard of the 71st, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the probate court of Carroll County. House Bill 624 by Representative Smith of the 18th, Huddleston of the 72nd, Howard of the 71st, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the state court of Carroll County. House Bill 625 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Panich of the 51st, Lalaurie of the 59th, Schofield of the 63rd, Holland of the 54th, and others. A bill to amend an act creating the state court of Fulton County by consolidation of the existing civil and criminal court. House Bill 626 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, Holcomb of the 101st, Mathiak of the 82nd, Dominic of the 29th, Lim of the 98th. A bill relating to preservation of evidence. House Bill 627 by Representative Pershing of the 119th, Cannon of the 172nd, Hitchens of the 161st, Smith of the 18th, Lumsden of the 12th, and others. A bill relating to courts. House Bill 628 by Representative Camp of the 135th, Crowe of the 118th, Lumsden of the 12th, Widower of the 121st. A bill relating to imposition rate, computation, exemptions, and credits for income taxes. House Bill 629 by Representative Hawkins of the 27th, Cooper of the 45th, Newton of the 127th, Green of the 154th, Mathiak of the 82nd, a bill relating to health. House Bill 630 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Ridley of the 6th, Corbett of the 174th, Prince of the 132nd, Reeves of the 99th, and others, a bill relating to used motor vehicle and used motor vehicle parts dealers. House Bill 631 by Representative McQueen of the 61st, Herring of the 145th, Glaze of the 67th, Barry of the 56th, and Lawley of the 59th, a bill relating to salary schedules for professionals in elementary and secondary education. House Bill 632 by Representative Bonner of the 73rd, Jenkins of the 136th, Blackman of the 146th, Holcomb of the 101st, Williams of the 168th, and others, a bill relating to disabled veterans and blind persons engaging in peddling, operating business, or practicing professions. House Bill 633 by Representative Bazemore of the 69th, Lawley of the 59th, Roberts of the 52nd, Oliver of the 84th, a bill relating to elections and primaries. House Bill 634 by Representative Barrett of the 24th, Townsend of the 179th, Jones of the 25th, Jaspers of the 11th, Jones of the 47th, and others, a bill to amend the Georgia Special Needs Scholarship Act. House Bill 635 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, Fry of the 122nd, Reeves of the 99th, Persinger of the 119th, Franklin of the 160th, and others, a bill relating to residential and commercial general contractors. House Bill 636 by Representative McQueen of the 61st, Bell of the 75th, Barry of the 56th, Cannon of the 58th, Willis of the 55th, a bill relating to sexual offenses. House Bill 637 by Representative Cummings of the 39th, Cooper of the 45th, Wilkerson of the 38th, Smith of the 41st, and Campbell of the 35th, a bill to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners for Cobb County. House Bill 638 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Holland of the 54th, Eulalie of the 59th, Evans of the 57th, Jones of the 60th, and others, a bill relating to Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority. House Bill 639 by Representative Wiedauer of the 121st, F. of the 104th, Cox of the 28th, Gaines of the 120th, Jaspers of the 11th, and others, a bill relating to the Juvenile Code. House Bill 640 by Representative Martin of the 49th, Jones of the 47th, Jones of the 25th, Owl of the 50th, Hilton of the 48th, a bill to amend an act to amend, consolidate, recreate, revise, and supersede the several acts incorporating the city of Alpharetta. House Bill 641 by Representative Lim of the 98th, Mathiak of the 82nd, Werkheiser of the 157th, Runner of the 85th, Lupton of the 83rd, and others, a bill relating to electric services. House Bill 642 by Representative Lim of the 98th, Carpenter of the 4th, Owl of the 50th, a bill relating to student health. House Bill 643 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, Hilton of the 48th, Ballard of the 147th, Rice of the 139th, Dubnick of the 29th, and others, a bill relating to loitering at or disrupting schools. House Bill 644 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, Stevens of the 164th, Buckner of the 137th, Taylor of the 173rd, Powell of the 33rd, and others, a bill relating to the Environmental Protection Division, Environmental Advisory Council, duties of council and members and director, appeal procedures, generally permit applications and inspections. House Bill 645 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Cooper of the 45th, Carpenter of the 4th, Corbett of the 174th, Williams of the 148th, a bill relating to regulation of hospitals and related institutions. House Bill 646 by Representative Stinson of the 150th, Wade of the 9th, Jackson of the 128th, Reese of the 140th, Herring of the 145th, the bill relating to coroners. House Bill 647 by Representative Donatucci of the 105th, Estration of the 104th, McCollum of the 30th, the bill to amend an act to incorporate the city of Mulberry.
Good morning. How are you?
House Bill 648 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Bernal of the 77th, Miller of the 62nd, Jackson of the 68th, a bill to amend an act providing a homestead exemption from City of College Park ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes. House Bill 653 by Representative Ridley of the 22nd, Montana of the 17th, Horner of the 3rd, Camp of the 135th, Roman of the 97th, and others, a bill relating to public utilities, public transportation. House Bill 654 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Owl of the 50th, Wilkson of the 38th, Clark of the 108th, Westbrook of the 163rd, a bill relating to general provisions regarding insurance. House Bill 655 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Burchett of the 176th, Clark of the 100th, Carpenter of the 4th, Sains of the 180th, and others, a bill relating to imposition rate computations, exemptions, and credits from income taxes. House Bill 656 by Representative Saints of the 180th, Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to development impact fees. House Bill 674 by Representative Paris of the 142nd, Hilton of the 48th, Ballard of the 147th, Glaze of the 67th, Wade of the 9th, and others, a bill relating to financial literacy, instruction, and curriculum. House Bill 675 by Representative Cox of the 28th, McDonald of the 26th, Panish of the 51st, Hitchens of the 161st, Jaspers of the 11th, a bill relating to offenses against public order and safety. House Bill 676 by Representative Clifton of the 131st, Gunter of the 8th, Reeves of the 99th, Wiedauer of the 121st, Persinger of the 119th, and others, a bill relating to mechanics and materialmen relative to liens. House Bill 677 by Representative Dempsey of the 13th, Taylor of the 173rd, Hawkins of the 27th, Hatch of the 155th, and Oliver of the 84th, a bill relating to general provisions of health. House Bill 678 by Representative Hilton of the 48th, Silcox of the 53rd, Carpenter of the 4th, Crow of the 118th, LaHood of the 175th, and others, a bill relating to general provisions applicable to counties, municipal corporations, other government entities. House Resolution 392 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Powell of the 33rd, Widower of the 121st, Ridley of the 6th, Smith of the 138th. Resolution creating the Joint Study Committee on the State Board of Registration of Used Motor Vehicle Dealers and Used Motor Vehicle Dealer Parts Dealers. House Bill 393, Resolution 393 by Representative Schofield of the 63rd, Davis of the 87th, Scott of the 76th, Jackson of the 68th, Brenner of the 85th, and others. Resolution urging the General Assembly to enact the Workplace Safety and Heat Protection Act. House Resolution 394 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Hugh Glee of the 141st, Barnes of the 86th, Tran of the 80th, Sampson of the 153rd, and others. Resolution affirming that the American dream belongs to all of us. House Resolution 395 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Miller of the 62nd, Clark of the 108th, Bazemore of the 69th, Harris of the 142nd. A resolution designating the month of May as Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month. House Resolution 396 by Representative Campbell of the 35th, Hugh Glee of the 141st, Miller of the 62nd, Glaze of the 67th, Howard of the 129th, and others. A resolution proposing the amendment to the Constitution so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide by law for the creation of Georgia's Children First Trust Fund. House Resolution 397 by Representative Cooper of the 45th, Silcox of the 53rd, Newton of the 127th, Howell of the 50th, Hawkins of the 27th. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on Healthcare Quality and Reporting. House Resolution 398 by Representative Ridley of the 22nd, Montana of the 17th, Horner of the 3rd, Camp of the 135th, Romano of the 97th. A resolution proposing the amendment to the Constitution to the state of Georgia so as to rename the Georgia Public Service Commission as the Georgia Public Utilities Commission. House Resolution 399 by Representative Santos of the 117th, Holly of the 116th, Clark of the 100th, Hawkins of the 27th, Cameron of the 1st, and others. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on One-Way Street Markings. House Resolution 400 by Representative Hefner of the 130th, Douglas of the 78th, Glaze of the 67th, Gamble of the 15th, Wade of the 9th. Resolution proposing the amendment to the Constitution of the state of Georgia so as to authorize the General Assembly to provide by law for a homestead exemption. Senate Bill 40 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th, Gooch of the 51st, Andavarty of the 31st, and Robertson of the 29th. A bill relating to secondary metals recyclers. Senate Bill 79 by Senator Goodman of the 8th, Strickland of the 42nd, Kennedy of the 18th, Tillery of the 19th, Gooch of the 51st, and others. A bill relating to crimes and offenses. Senate Bill 123 by Senator Kennedy of the 18th, Hickman of the 4th, Hatchett of the 50th, Gooch of the 51st, Robertson of the 29th, and others. A bill relating to compulsory attendance. Senate Bill 130 by Senator Hodges of the 3rd, Still of the 48th, Watson of the 1st, Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Hickman of the 4th. A bill relating to health. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk, will you read?
Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District, Chairman of the Committee on Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Education has had under its consideration the following bills and resolutions of the House, instructing me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 175 do pass. House Resolution 145 do pass by substitute. House Bill 127 do pass. House Bill 371 do pass. House Bill 12 do pass by substitute. House Bill 335 do pass. House Bill 200 do pass by substitute. House Bill 235 do pass by substitute. House Bill 37 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District, Chairman. Representative Victor Anderson of the 10th District, Chairman of the Committee on Governmental Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Governmental Affairs has had under its consideration the following bills of the House, has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 399 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Victor Anderson of the 10th District, Chairman. Representative Hawkins, the 27th District Chairman of the Committee on Health, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health has had under its consideration the following bills and resolutions to the House, and instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 473 do pass. House Bills 567 do pass by committee substitute. House Bill 522 do pass. House Bill 612 do pass. House Bill 571 do pass by substitute. House Resolution 72 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Hawkins, the 27th District, Chairman. Representative Jesse Petrie of the 166th District, Chairman of the Committee on Human Relations and Aging, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Human Relations and Aging has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. Instructed me to report the same back to the House and following recommendations. House Bill 465 to pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jesse Petrie, the 166th District Chairman. Representative Gunner, the 8th District Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary has had under its consideration the following bills of the House and has instructed me to report the same back to the House and following recommendations. House Bill 179 to pass by committee substitute. House Bill 339 to pass by committee substitute. House Bill 482 to pass. House Bill 531 to pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Gunner of the 8th District Chairman. Representative Clint Crow of the 118th District Chairman of the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under its consideration the following bill of the House has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 246 to pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Clint Crow of the 118th District Chairman. Representative Rick Jaspers of the 11th District Chairman of the Committee on Transportation submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Transportation has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 224 do pass. House Bill 575 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Rick Jaspers of the 11th District Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. It's been brought to my attention, members, by the clerk of this House, Chairman Parrish, how calm and collected this room was, how quiet, so orderly, until the Rules Committee came in. I'm not sure what that says about, it's all pent up, I guess, in your meeting. It comes unleashed when it comes down here. So we'll move on to our morning orders. Representative Carter is recognized. We're going to work on a 2-minute schedule here, everyone. Up to 2 minutes, then that's the end of the line. 2 minutes, I think you can do it in less than that. I don't see Representative Carter, so we'll move on to, oh, there she is, Representative Doreen Carter. Ladies recognized. Give the lady your attention, please.
Okay. Good morning.
And friends.
Yeah, and the Chairman Powell's supposed to be down here with us. Well, good morning, everyone. We have some special guests here with us today. It's the National African American Gun Association. They are here with us celebrating their 10th anniversary. Their Atlanta chapter is the Atlanta Bass Reeves chapter, and this organization has been established to not only support the education of gun rights, but also training individuals. They have a huge initiative with educating our youth. They do a gun safety, gun lock giveaway. So if you would, at this time, please stand, the members of the National African American Gun Association, and you all give them a wonderful Georgia General Assembly welcome. Thank you so much. And they're going to come downstairs and they will join us in the anteroom if you guys want to take pictures with us. Thank you. You're the welcome.
Thank you, and welcome to the People's House. Representative Smith, you ready? Representative Tyler Paul Smith is recognized. Chairman Smith, for an announcement. Give the gentleman your attention, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of welcoming the 1A Division I cheerleading state championship team, which just happens to be for my alma mater at Bremen High School. Throughout the year, they just kept on winning and won when it really counted, and brought one of many state championships, Mr. Speaker, that we are proud to say that our team at the Bremen cheerleading has brought home to our beloved hometown. So I think they were supposed to be here this morning. They may be over in the Senate, but if y'all would just help me give them a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Congratulations to them. That's an awesome achievement, no doubt. Let's see, we have Representative Schofield, Representative Cannon, Representative Scott, Representative Bernal, and Representative Davis. Recognize some very important people in this state, so give the ladies in the well your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues and members, today we honor the dedicated school bus drivers and food service workers across districts 58, 63, 76, 77, and 87, serving Atlanta Public Schools, Fulton County, Clayton County, and DeKalb County. Their unwavering commitment ensures our children arrive safely, start their day with nourishment, and are cared for beyond the classroom. To you guys, you are the heartbeat of our schools, working early mornings and late evenings to uplift our students. We see you, we appreciate you, and we thank you for your invaluable service to your community. Your work does not go unnoticed, so today we thank you. I'll have you stand in a minute, but we'll ask Representative Bernal to come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Anthony Smith, Sam Koger, who is here. He's in charge of our maintenance department, Audrey Hamilton, nutrition, Denise Hall, transportation, and all of our cafeteria maintenance and bus drivers for all you do for our students. Welcome to the Georgia Capitol. And would you all please stand? And Mr. Speaker, they brought some legislation for us too.
Well, that's a good thing. Hey, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for what you do. Things wouldn't work without you, I can assure you of that. So thank y'all for y'all's hard work, and thanks for being here today. Glad to have you in the People's House. Chairman Chokus, Chairman Dickey, and some other friends. All right, members, we have some great friends in the gallery, so
y'all stand up, stand up. Y'all stand up. Stand up.
We want to recognize and
good. Absolutely.
Gentlemen's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Georgia Ag Day at the Capitol. Today, the Watermelon Capital Queens, the Miss Georgia Commodity Queens, the Miss Georgia Sweet Potato Queens are excited to join us. These queens are from all over the state of Georgia, and they have a passion for agriculture. They have been they've been representing some of Georgia's largest commodities throughout the year at various events, and we are proud for them to be a part of Georgia Ag Day here at the Capitol. And I'm just going to read off their names. Collins Austin, Baby Miss Georgia Commodity. Lee Sternovan is Miss Georgia Commodity. Scarlett Tyson couldn't make it. Teeny Miss Mellon. Ava Wilkinson, Miss Mellon. Abigail Odom, Petite Miss Mellon. Jessie Blair, Miss Georgia Commodity and Miss Georgia Sweet Potato. Charlotte Shiflett, Baby Miss Georgia Commodity. Carter Jane Smith, Little Miss Georgia Sweet Potato. Alana Ondick, Teen Miss Georgia Sweet Potato, and Dora Downey, Teeny Miss Georgia Sweet Potato. Thank you, young ladies, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We yield the well.
Thank you, young ladies, for participating. Thank you, parents, for being here with them. They have the looks and they have the wave, I can tell you that, because they got that part down. They're going to do great. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Mr. Chairman and members, for recognizing these young ladies. Representative David Clark and Representative Mathis, are y'all's folks here? Gentlemen are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I want to congratulate the North Gwinnett High School Game Day Cheer Squad upon winning the 2024 state championship. This all-star team includes 9 seniors, 14 juniors, 2 sophomores, and 7 freshmen, all of whom have the heart of a champion and represent the Suwannee community with pride. Please help me welcome them to the gallery. Please stand, girls. We're proud of you. And I'm going to hand it over to Representative Mathis because one of the cheerleaders has a very special place in his heart.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that, Speaker. That's my granddaughter sitting right up in the front, Emma Kate Perkins. That's the reason I'm in that, and I appreciate you so much. And one little note, I was at the championship cheer-off over in Columbus, and they did a great job doing what you did. Thank you again.
Granddaddy, I know you were a little bit biased, but evidently the judges thought they were really good too. So congratulations, y'all. Good to have you with us. Quite an achievement. Representative Berry. And friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I forgot my name for a
Give the gentleman your attention, please.
We love all of our members of our minority Democratic Party, but if you are under the age of 40, can you please join me up here?
It's true. I think it's just us.
Just us?
Just us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
under the age of 40. Anybody under the age of 40?
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a great day, a special day for all of us up here because it is Young Democrats of Georgia Day here at the Capitol. Where are we at? Young Democrats are coming from across the state, advocating for gun safety, livable wages, and better schools. I was honored to lead this organization just 2 years ago, and now is ran by the impeccable leadership of President Devontae Jennings. Where's he at? Devontae Jennings right there from Clayton County. Yeah. We are here today to talk about several issues that relate to our state and moving our state forward, so we thank them for being in the People's House today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Welcome to the People's House. Maintenance crew was here too. Good. We're glad to have y'all. Representative Lauren McDonald, Governor's floor leader, recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm missing one here.
Who are you looking for?
Representative from Hall County. He's probably out on his shrimp boat somewhere. Anyway, today is EMS Day at the Capitol. I want to welcome all our frontline EMS professionals. Like a gentleman from Cobb County is here with me. He knows it very well because he lives it every day. These guys are our frontline guys and ladies that are out there throughout our state, urban and rural, providing good professional EMS services in our communities. It's 49 years they've been providing frontline EMS care to our citizens. And March 2nd, this Sunday, is officially EMS Day in Georgia. I also want to thank our EMS Association. Gentlemen, if y'all would stand up there. Chad Black, he's one of our big leaders that helped get us Grady, that is here every day to provide a service to not only us as members, but the people that attend the People's House each and every day. But I want to thank our EMS professionals that provide this service throughout our state. Thank you.
Great work. Some good EMS professionals right here in this body as well. Thank you for what you all do, and welcome to the People's House. Representative New and friends. and friends. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. Please join me in welcoming the Georgia Federation of Republican Women in the gallery today. Started in 1957 with the first club in Augusta, we now have over 1,000 members in the state and over 65,000 strong across the country. Last election cycle, our ladies made over 1.4 million calls, over 14 million volunteer hours. The GFRW is educating, engaging, and empowering women to be part of the political process. Welcome them to the People's House. Please stand if you're in the gallery. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Great to have y'all. Appreciate what you're doing. Representative Cahan, don't leave. The ladies recognized for a morning order. Give the lady your attention, please.
Good morning. To piggyback on that recognition, I'd like to honor and recognize the hardworking volunteers and my friends of the Henry County chapter of the Southern Traditions Republican Women. And some are still in the hallway making their way in. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for recognizing them. Thank you all for being here. We're great to have you in the People's House. Majority Leader F. Strachan is recognized, and I think some folks are going to join you. Members, this is an important one that we're going to give thanks to a person who has served this house, and leader is going to give us some information on that service and some thanks. So members, if you'll give Mr. Leader, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, this is really a bittersweet day for my office, the representatives who are standing here with me, and the entire House of Representatives. Today is the day of retirement for Mrs. Talmadge James, who has served this chamber and the state of Georgia honorably for 25 years. She has worked as an administrative assistant in my office, and thank you, members, for joining me up here. She's worked with Chairman Dickey, Chairman Hatchett, Chairman Rhodes, Chairman Powell, Leader McDonald, Leader Gamble, Leader Hong, Leader Wade, and many others here in this chamber, and just provided exemplary service to our constituents, has worked incredibly hard for the House of Representatives, and she is joined here on the floor today so that we can present her with House Resolution 404, signed by you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much for co-sponsoring, along with her husband, Leroy, and her family. If you would, please, House of Representatives, if we could give the incredible Talmadge James a round of applause on the day of her retirement. Talmadge, you mean so much to all of us. Congratulations and best wishes in your retirement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, Mr. Leaders. Thank you, members. Talmadge. Talmadge, can you do a favor for me? Would you write down the recipe so we can share it with some other folks? How you made all these folks look so good, I'm going to tell you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for caring for all of us, and thank you for caring for this house. That was a heavy load to make you look good in a lot of ways. I won't go any further than that. She did great and has done great. Best of luck to you. And thank you, family, for allowing her to serve. That completes our morning orders. Thank you, members. Will the James family join me up here? And you can bring your mom and Miss Talmadge with us. Members, I'm going to get a photo up here. I'm honored to be able to do that. But I want to invite you, if you want to join Miss Talmadge and the family in that South Annie room and thank her for her service and have a photo, you can do that as we move on to the rules calendar. Members, we'll move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 307?
House Bill 307 by Representative Ballard of the 147th and others being entitled an act to amend Part 3 of Article 6, Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to educational programs under the Quality Basic Education Act so as to include provisions for students significantly at risk of not achieving grade level reading proficiency. This bill I refer to the Committee on Education. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by Rules Committee substitute.
I want you to give the lady who's going to be in the well your attention. The lady from Warner Robins knows a little bit about this subject matter. We appreciate her leadership here. So with that, I'm going to recognize Representative Bethany Ballard to present House Bill 307. Representative Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 307 is a continuation of this body's hard, bipartisan work and its strong commitment to improving literacy that we began in 2023 with the passage of House Bill 538. We are continuing to head in the right direction, but more work is needed to ensure that our children and all our children read proficiently. This bill removes outdated language regarding programs that do not align with our new Science of Reading standards, defines characteristics of dyslexia, and creates the structure and composition of the Literacy Coach Coordination Committee to ensure our state's literacy coaches get quality and uniform training. That's the bill, Mr. Speaker, and I will stand for any questions.
Lady has a question if she'll yield.
I yield.
To your left, Representative Rice is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you yield?
I do.
Representative Ballard, is it not true that early identification and intervention for students with reading difficulties can significantly improve their academic outcomes?
Absolutely. When we identify these children in kindergarten or first grade, they might need this much help to get on grade level. When we wait till third or fourth grade, they need this much. So it's imperative we identify them early.
Good question, good answer. You have one more question from a gentleman who knows a little bit about education. Chairman Irwin, to your right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
Is it not true that ensuring educators receive the necessary training to identify and support students with reading difficulties will lead to a better educational outcome for this entire state, including all of our citizens?
Absolutely.
Great bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lady, yield for one more.
One more.
Representative Barnes is recognized up to your left, up the center aisle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for bringing this bill. Is it not true that when children are fed a nourish meal, that they helps them read better and perform academically in school?
The lady knows of that of which she speaks.
Thanks for this bill.
Thank you.
Lady has one more.
One more, and then I'm going to get out of here.
One more. Representative Silcox, to your right, straight up the center aisle, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentlelady yield?
I yield.
Isn't it true, Representative Ballard, that this will also contribute to Georgia's economic success by fostering a more skilled and educated workforce?
Absolutely. Children cannot be successful in school or in life without reading proficiently. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield the well, and I would appreciate your favorable consideration.
The lady has yielded the well. Thank you for your presentation. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to withdrawing the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is withdrawn. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? Hearing none, the Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purpose does Chairman Hilton rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true that under your leadership, Chairman Irwin and Representative Ballard, we have taken significant strides in literacy, and House Bill 307 is yet another step toward making movement to make sure that every child in our state reads as they should? Is that not true?
I think the gentleman knows of what he speaks. It's a team effort. This House is behind literacy, and I think the vote on the board clearly demonstrates the quality of this bill and the dedication of this House to literacy in our state. Have all members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 307, the yeas are 166, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of House Bill 423, 423?
House Bill 423 by Representative Wade of the 9th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Article 12 of Chapter 3 of Title 38 and Part 4 of Article 2 of Chapter 5 of Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to Emergency Communications Authority and an emergency telephone number 911 system. This bill having referred to the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Governor's Floor Leader, Representative Will Wade, is recognized to present the bill. Representative Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise today to request your favorable support of House Bill 423. This is what is deemed the Next Gen 911 bill. This is a bill that came out of a study committee that was going to help improve public safety and our overall 56-year-old system when 911 was originally introduced in our state. And while some of our communities, very few of them, are currently utilizing this technology to help improve and be in a 21st century service level for our citizens, whether it be folks in rural Georgia, suburban Georgia, or in our urban centers. All across our state, we see a great need to utilize current technology. This current bill will amend the purpose and duties and responsibilities of our agency, GEMA Homeland Security, to include procuring, implementing, and overseeing the Next Gen 911 service. It will amend the responsibilities of our executive director and representation from information technology, cybersecurity, geographic information systems, commonly known as GIS, and also to the GECA Board of Directors. This is going to be critical to help maintain better public safety service delivery, and help lives of all Georgians all across this state. With that, Mr. Speaker, I would be happy to answer any questions. And again, I ask for your favorable consideration for this very important agency legislation.
Thank you, Representative Wade. You do have several questions. Okay. Representative Hefner to your left, about midway's back. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I certainly do.
Sir, thank you so much for bringing this bill. This particular type of legislation would have offered much needed support during the time of Hurricane Helene, when in the Augusta area we had a complete blackout. There was no landlines and no cellular lines. Our GEMA and FEMA all had problems communicating with the police and the fire department. So this bill circumvents the current system and helps us to have a more adequate process online. Is that correct?
That is correct. You know of what you speak. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for bringing this bill.
Thank you.
The gentleman yield for another question.
I'll yield for one more question, sir.
Representative New is recognized for a question to your right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Oh, yes, I do.
Is it not true that this bill will modernize Georgia's emergency response system by implementing Next Generation 911 and ensuring faster, more efficient, and accurate emergency responses?
The gentlelady knows exactly what she speaks. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for this bill.
Thank you. All right. If there are no further questions, Mr. Speaker, I look for your favorable consideration.
You have a couple other questions. That's your choice.
One more.
I'll take a question from Representative Sanchez. Gentleman's recognized to your right.
Thank you for bringing this important bill. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Just a quick question. So is there language already in the bill about making sure that the location access that these new services provide will only be used for when those 911 services are being used, like specifically narrowly for those cases?
So this is specifically for 911 usage. That is correct.
And so do you yield for a further question?
Sure.
So when they have access to the location of an individual, that will only be used for the specific 911 case, correct?
That is correct, and that would be initiated by the actual person that is making that connection to 911. It is not reversible.
Great. Thank you for this great bill.
Thank you very much. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield, and I appreciate your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The gentleman has yielded the well. Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Reese rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry, sir.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that since the implementation of 911, we have become better at responding to emergencies, and this bill here is going to help us keep up with the times, in addition to systems like 211 that help with non-emergency situations during natural disasters and other trying times for Georgians?
I can totally agree with the gentleman. He knows of what he speaks. Thank you for the question. Have all members now voted? All members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 423. Then the yeas are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 475?
House Bill 475 by Representative Campbell, the 15th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 48740.26 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated related to income tax credits for film, gaming, video, or digital production. This bill having referred to the Committee on Creative Arts and Entertainment. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Matthew Gamble is recognized to present the bill. The gentleman from Cartersville. Give the gentleman your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise to present to you House Bill 475 today. And what I want to make sure you understand is that this is simply a Department of Economic Development bill that will clean up, clarify, and confirm some things as it relates to our film tax credit. This is not an expansion of that. It has nothing to do with that, but we're updating some terminology, like the word Laserdisc is no longer relevant in this credit, so we will be deleting that. And then televised in front of commercial advertisements is somewhat of an outdated terminology because not all commercials are televised as they once were when this was originally proposed. We're also clarifying and adding definitions for subscription-based platforms, free advertiser-supported streaming, because those are some new things that are now part of the film industry as well. And then the main thing that this does is if someone applies for the film tax credit and is denied by the Department of Economic Development, they can appeal to an administrative court, and we have to pay for legal fees in defending ourselves as the state in the promulgation of that film tax credit. And so this would create a loser pays scenario where if they appeal and they are ultimately denied in that appeal, they were responsible for paying those attorney's fees. So that is the essence of House Bill 475, just a simple cleanup bill from the department, and I would ask for your favorable consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
The gentleman has a question. Representative Ramon, to your left.
Hi. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
So I don't know if it's because I'm a millennial, but we were just wondering, what is a laser disc?
So a laser disc, for those of us that lived through the 90s, a laser disc was a really big deal. And, you know, I don't really see a lot of those out there anymore, but at the time, if you had a laser disc player in the 90s, you had something really special. It would have been like a high definition, 5K, you know, but at the time, that was a big deal. We're deleting that terminology because it is an antiquated technology no longer used. So that's what a laser disc is, but I appreciate the question. With that, Mr. Speaker, I will yield the will and ask for your favorable consideration.
Gentlemen, is yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? Will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 475, the yeas are 161, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of House Bill 495?
House Bill 495 by Representative Dickey, the 134th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to education so as to repeal Chapter 18. This bill having referred to the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Gentleman from Usella, Representative Robert Dickey, is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and distinguished House members. I bring you HB 495, Georgia Center for Rural Prosperity and Innovation. You know, Georgia's blessed to have this Center for Rural Prosperity, which was organized 6 years ago. The Rural Center exists to build and assist rural communities and businesses to help them prosper. You know, 120 out of our 159 counties are considered rural, and many are plagued by population loss, insufficient access to health care, quality education and infrastructure, and lack of employment opportunities. And so this center serves as a center for information and research to help with best practices in those communities. The goal is to reconnect the state's rural and urban people and places. It's leveraged $425 million of investment in those communities. So this bill simply moves this great center from ABAC over to the Georgia Department of Agriculture, and that's really all it does. It keeps its same budget, a budget line in our budget, no change in board or any other responsibilities. It's just better for long-term stability and efficiency, and just better aligns there. So that is what we're asking you to do, is to simply move this from under USG over to Department of Ag. I'll be happy to take any questions, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman, I think he has a question, but I just want to thank him for bringing this bill. This center has done a lot of good work working for rural Georgia, and I think this is a good move, and we appreciate you bringing it. For what? See, I reckon you going to yield for a couple of questions. Are you good for a couple of questions?
If you would like,
you do have a couple of questions.
I'll take one or two.
Representative Osteen has her button mashed. Ladies recognized.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true House Bill 495 will help to bolster rural
Representative, I don't know the answer to your question. I'll go ahead and tell you now. I think Chairman Dickey might, though.
I yield. Go.
Chairman Dickey, is it not true House Bill 495 will help to bolster rural prosperity across the state?
It's absolutely true. Thank you for that.
I knew the answer to that one. I was making sure.
If there's one more, Mr.
You got one. You'll take one more.
I'll take one more.
Representative Joe Campbell is recognized to. There he is, right to your right. I'm sorry, I was looking further back. Representative Campbell. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that transferring the Center for Rural Prosperity and Innovation to the Department of Ag will allow for better coordination of resources and expertise to support Georgia's rural communities?
Yes, sir. With that, Mr. Speaker, it reminds me of a quote by a great philosopher, Thomas Carlyle. It says, "The main business is not to see what lies dimly in the distance, but to do what clearly is at hand." So I ask you members to pass this bill this morning, vote affirmative, and thank you for your consideration.
Great bill, great student you are, and a great philosopher Carlyle was, no doubt about that. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. Representative Osteen, did you have a parliamentary inquiry? Did you have an inquiry? Oh, you must have inadvertently hit your button, I guess, so we won't recognize you then. Have all members now voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 495, the yeas are 167, the nays are 0. This bill, having received a requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. You need to watch your neighbors over there. I think you do. And good luck with that group. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 66?
House Bill 66 by Representative Stevens, the 164th, and others, be titled an act to amend Chapter 5C, Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to title ad valorem tax on motor vehicles, so as to expand the definition of a rental motor vehicle. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The Dean of the Chatham County Delegation, Representative Ron Stevens, is recognized to present the bill. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Bill 66 relates to the TAVT and how the tax is paid when purchasing certain vehicles. Currently, we've got some heavily modified vehicles that basically have a chassis that's made specifically for the movie industry. They're rented out once they're made. All this bill does is it moves them to a motor coach type titling provision, so that it gives them the opportunity to pay half of the tax now and then half of the tax within 1 year. This is exactly the way the motor coach division works. It's something that will help these folks stay in business as they begin to rent these vehicles, and it does not reduce at all the amount of TAVT that's due. Mr. Speaker, that's what it does, and I'll answer any questions if there are any.
Gentleman has no questions.
You the will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 66, the yeas are 164, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 377?
House Bill 377 by Representative Leverett of the 123rd, and others, being titled an act to amend subpart 1 of part 4 of Article 2 of Chapter 2 of Title 8 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to general provisions for manufactured or mobile homes, so as to provide for limited exceptions to circumstances under which a manufactured home shall become real property. This bill having referred to the Committee on Banks and Banking, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
And gentlemen from the granite capital of the world, isn't that right? Elberton, Georgia. Representative Leverett is recognized to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I have House Bill 377. This is a bill that will encourage the availability of credit for workforce housing within the state. It has to do with manufactured housing, what I call a mobile home, sometimes a trailer, but everybody in the business, their head explodes when you use that term. This basically has to do with the manner by which you can surrender the title to a manufactured home after it's located on real estate. This bill will simplify that process. It's thought that it would encourage the presence of lenders in that space so that folks can get loans for these, and it will streamline the process of converting a loan which is based on
the status of the mobile home as personal property into a loan, like a mortgage loan, which is based on it being converted to real estate. This has to do with there's an existing process in the law where you surrender that title and file a certificate of permanent location. This just tries to streamline that and encourage it because it protects the status of any lien a lender has if it's converted. So the idea is it will encourage the availability of credit in this kind of marketplace. So we're hoping it'll help with workforce housing in the state. And that's basically the bill, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad to answer any questions.
You have a question to your left. Representative Fry is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Isn't it true that I sure could have used this legislation about a year ago when I was trying to get an abandoned trailer off my property, and I could not move it because we could not find the title to it? And we had to go through about a 3 or 4 month process before I could even enter the building because the trailer is treated like a vehicle, not a house. And this helps it be treated like a house.
As we are fond of saying in this building, the gentleman knows of what he speaks.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Gentleman, yield for one more.
Yes, sir.
Representative Wade, to your right in the back, has a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir. I'll yield.
Is it not true that House Bill 377 simplifies the titling process for manufactured homeowners, which will reduce bureaucratic delays and also will add to the real property tax base for local counties and cities?
I am truly impressed by the level of knowledge and understanding the gentleman displays.
Well, I was going to vote yes. Now I have to reconsider. Thank you.
And surprised?
Well, yes, a little bit, Mr. Speaker, but he impressed me today.
Gentleman
Mr.
has
Speaker,
no further questions.
I'll yield the well and ask for your favorable consideration of House Bill 377.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purposes? Representative Hefner, rise.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry, ma'am.
Is it not true that as the former motor vehicle director for Richmond County, it is a relief to have this measure in place for constituents who would normally have to go get a bonded title and pay the expenses in order to be able to get the title for this vehicle?
I'm sure it'll make life easier, but we want you to stay here. We don't want you to go back there and assume that responsibility again. So the lady knows what she speaks on this question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the question. All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 377? The yeas are 166. The nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 422, 422?
House Bill 422 by Representative McCollum of the 30th and others to be titled an act to amend Chapter 18 Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to employees' insurance and benefit plans so as to require the state's employees' health insurance benefit plans include high deductible health plans. This bill having referred to the Committee on Insurance, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative McCollum is recognized to present the bill. The gentleman is recognized. Give the gentleman the will your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you HB 422, which is passed unanimously out of the House and Senate last year, but was vetoed by the governor due to a fiscal note. This year we have a fiscal note, and it's a cost savings to lower premiums and taxes, which will result in immediate savings for both the state and the employees. It lets the employees have the ability to pre-tax contributions to a high deductible savings account if they have a high deductible insurance plan. At this time, I will consider your favorable consideration. Thank you.
At least I didn't amend my amendment this year.
You're getting better, and me too. I mean, we both a work in progress. I can tell you that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlemen,
I
yield
appreciate the help.
Gentlemen, yield for a question.
I'll yield for a question. Thank you.
Representative Noel Williams to your right. Way to your right has a question. Gentleman's recognized.
Representative, do you yield for a question?
I do. Thank you.
Is it not true by offering these health savings accounts through payroll deduction that it is going to enable the state employees to purchase their health savings account through pre-tax dollars, therefore saving them money in the long run? Is that not true, sir?
It is true.
Thank you for bringing this bill.
Thank you.
Representative McCullum, you have no further questions.
I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Good job. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purposes, Representative Gamble rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiries.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true that this bill does not eliminate any current health insurance options, but simply provides additional choices for the state employees? And as we know, choices are always good.
Couldn't agree any stronger with you. Thank you for your observation and your insight. Have all members now voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 422, the yeas are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. You got a good style there, Representative McCullum. You're doing good. Keep it coming. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 373?
House Bill 373 by Representative Glaze, the 67th and others to be titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 24 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to general provisions regarding insurance so as to require major medical coverage for annual prostate cancer screening for certain men. This bill having referred to the Committee on Insurance, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
I want y'all to give the lady in the wheel your attention, please. This is a very important bill. Representative Glaze is recognized to present the bill. Give the lady your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, I rise before you respectfully to ask for your favorable consideration for House Bill 373. This is a requirement for major medical insurance coverage for the annual prostate cancer screenings for men of high risk. And the reason we need this is because the men in Georgia will have 11,000 new cases of prostate cancer this year. Over 1,100 of our brothers will die in this state. This bill will help to improve early detection, treatment of prostate cancer, and ultimately save the lives and reduce the financial and emotional burdens on the families who suffer the loss of their loved ones through prostate cancer. This bill has strong support from medical professionals, patient advocacy groups, and concerned citizens who recognize the importance and the access to preventative health care. I thank you and open for questions.
The lady will yield for a couple of questions. Representative Reeves, to your right, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentlelady yield for a question?
Yes, sir.
Representative Glaze, isn't it true the House Insurance Committee studied your bill and approved it overwhelmingly, and that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure when it comes to prostate cancer?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and thank you.
Lady, yield for another question.
Yes, sir.
Representative Prince, Chairman Prince, to your left, has a question. Gentleman's recognized.
Will the lady yield?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that prostate cancer amongst men are most commonly diagnosed? If done early, we can possibly cure that person?
You are correct, and thank you.
Thank you for the bill.
Representative Henderson is recognized for a question to your left.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentlelady yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it true that prostate cancer is a leading cause of death for men in Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
And if detected early, men would be able to see sunshine and live a cancer-free life. Thank you for bringing this bill.
Thank you.
Representative Yasmin Neal has a question to your left.
Does the lady yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it not true that this is your first bill?
Yes, it is.
Is it also not true that you are doing this bill in honor of a former member of this House who passed away, Tish Nagisi?
That is correct.
Thank you.
What a fine lady she was, too, and a great representative. Thought a lot of Miss Tish. Representative Tish was a good friend. We have a couple more questions if the lady will yield.
I do yield.
Representative Holly is recognized for a question to your left.
Did the gentlelady yield?
Yes, sir.
Is it not true that your taking of this matter and putting it before the public, you not only speak for the multitudes of African American men who may be affected by this, but also the families that love them, that would hope that our state do more to allow for them to be able to be seen and heard for the early detection?
Thank you, sir. This bill will help all men in Georgia, and we're grateful if we can pass that today.
We are grateful for you.
Representative Hagan to your right has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We have had many conversations, so I know that you are a very compassionate woman and do care greatly for other people. And isn't it true that my father successfully battled prostate cancer a few years ago, and it was that early detection that helped him to get in front of it and successfully complete his treatments? And isn't it true that I greatly appreciate your work here to help other people and make sure they get the care that they need?
Thank you so much for sharing your story of success, and we hope that there'll be many more as a result of this bill.
Lady yield for another question. Representative Paris is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr.
To
Speaker.
your right, yes.
Thank you, sir. Does the gentlelady yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it not true that the risk of prostate cancer increases with age, and that with early detection we can get the numbers down of deaths and make sure that people live a longer, healthier life?
That is correct. Thank you.
I want to thank you so much for this bill and your dutiful work on it, and thank you.
Representative Okoye, Representative Gabe Okoye is to your left, is recognized for a question.
Does the gentlelady yield?
Yes, sir.
Is it not true that though this is your first bill, you sound like a veteran down there?
I don't know about that, but thank you for the compliment.
Let's get one from the medical profession. Representative Dr. Newton to your right is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentlelady yield?
Yes, sir, Dr. Newton.
Isn't it true that we had an opportunity to work together on this and perfect this bill, and that in doing so you're making it possible for a disease that might involve very invasive and difficult treatments to be caught so much earlier that it can be very benign, and the medical profession can do what we need to do, which is care for all of us?
Well, I want to say thank you to you, Dr. Newton, for your work inside of this bill and your support. And this bill hopefully will go forth and take care of the lives of many men in this state. Again, thank you for your collaboration and partnership.
Thank you for your work.
You're doing such a great job. I want to recognize one more if you'll let me do it.
Yes, sir.
Representative Griffin is recognized for a question to your right.
Would a gentlelady yield?
Yes, sir.
Is it not true at age 45 I started having yearly prostate cancer tests?
I hope that is true, and I hope many more men will start around 40.
Now, well, I'm trying to go somewhere with that question. Okay. Would a gentle lady continue to yield for another question?
Yes, sir.
Is it not true, after taking those tests yearly, at age 65, I came up with prostate cancer? But it was in an early stage, and I went through the treatment, and I am still cancer-free. Thank you for bringing that bill.
Thank you for sharing your story. And with that, I ask your favorable consideration. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
The gentlelady is yielded the well. Representative Glaze, I don't think the outcome's in question, but we'll do it anyway. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Jasmine Clark rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that I am very much in support of this bill because my own father, during the COVID-19 pandemic, missed his PSA test just that 1 year, and the difference between getting screened in 2019 and getting screened in 2021 was the difference between him being cancer-free and unfortunately still battling cancer, prostate cancer to this day.
Our prayers are with your dad, and we wish him the best outcome at very much possible. And thank you for your certainly knowledge of this testing. Thanks for your advocacy as well, and thank you for your vote. Have all members now voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of House Bill 373, the yeas are 164, the nays 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Congratulations and thank you. Again, congratulations, Representative Glaze, and thank you. Good job. Appreciate you working that bill. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of House Bill 240?
House Bill 240 by Representative Williams, the 148th to be entitled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 15 of Chapter 1 of Title 10 and Article 13 of Chapter 1 of Title 7 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated related to the Fair Business Practices Act and licensing of mortgage lenders and mortgage brokers. This bill having referred to the Committee on Banks and Banking. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Thank you, members. Members, we're moving on with the rules calendar now. Of course, we're on House Bill 240, as the clerk just read the caption. Representative Noel Williams is recognized to present the bill. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this bill should sound familiar to you from last year. It was a trigger leads bill. It passed out of this House unanimously. It died a slow death on day 40 across the hall. Basically, this is a Consumer Protection Act. When you're getting a loan, a mortgage loan, basically what trigger leads are, they're generated when a lender pulls a consumer credit report through TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, and then they sell those consumer information to other lenders. What this bill helps to do is to stop unwanted solicitation when someone applies for a loan. They still can use their current mortgage or their vendor, but this just stops the companies from selling to other companies, and then you getting those inundated with faxes and emails and text messages trying to get you to switch. And a lot of times people's credit is ruined. There's a lot of fraud and deception, and we had a lot of bankers calling, wanting this passed this year. It comes 100% by the Mortgage Bankers Association. It's a great bill for the consumers, and it's a great bill for the state of Georgia. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for any questions.
The gentleman has a question to your right. Representative Martin is recognized for a question.
Gentleman, yield for a question.
I certainly do.
I could have come down to speak on your bill in support of it, but I'll ask you this question. Isn't it true that what you are doing here is in fact stopping fraudulent actors in the process? Because you and I have talked, isn't it true that I am aware of cases where people not only get these trigger leads and communicate with the loan originator, the customer, as if they are the original broker that the citizen went to, and this could also cut out that as a potential for unscrupulous folks that would take that. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir, that is correct. It'll help stop harassment, deception, and fraud, and predatory lending, and the gentleman knows of what he speaks.
Gentleman, yield for one more from Representative Wade.
Yes, sir.
To your right in the back. Representative Wade, did you have a question?
Yes, sir. Gentleman yield.
Sure.
Is it not true that House Bill 240 will enhance consumer protection and reduce confusion among potential home buyers in the buying process as well as homeowners in the refinance process?
As a banker, I know you know what you speak, and I appreciate you asking that question.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your support on House Bill 240. Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 240? The yeas are 165, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of House Bill 303?
House Bills 303 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 33 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to state flags, seals, and other symbols so as to provide for placement of a monument to honor the original 33. This bill having been referred to the Committee on State Properties, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Gilliard is recognized to present the bill. Representative Carl Gilliard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise at a pinnacle moment to present House Bill 303. My brothers and sisters, in 1868, there were 33 courageous men. 25 of them were AME ministers, 33 original members of the House and the Senate. They were African American Republicans. They were courageous Americans. The original 33 stood up so that we can sit down. This bill is a bill that commemorates 33 great Americans. And let me just briefly say their names. Ellie Barnes, James Ward Porter, Henry McNeil Turner, William Guilford, William Henry Harrison, Thomas M. Allen, Thomas Beard, Edwin Belcher, George H. Clower, Abraham Colby, Romulus Moore, John T. Colston, Madison Davis, Monday Floyd, F.H. Farrell, Samuel Gardner, William A. Golden, my great-great-great cousin, Ulysses L. Houston, James M. Sims, Philip Joyner, George Linder, Philip Lumpkin, Peter O'Neill, Alfred Richardson, Alexander Stone, Abraham Smith, John Warren, Samuel Williams, Tunis Campbell Jr., Malcolm Claiborne, Reverend Tunis Campbell Sr., Aaron Bradley, and Mr. George Wallace. They were the original 33. They were not allowed to serve in this General Assembly. And in 1870, they petitioned to come back and serve. Unfortunately, 14 of them were lynched. I want to thank the Dean of this House. I want to thank the State Properties Committee for having the posture to do what is right to salute 33 great Americans. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you on today for having the posture. The chairman of the Rules Committee, I want to thank you for having the posture to salute 33 original members of this United States of America. We ask today that this bill only simplifies to have 33 names that were not allowed to be inside of the walls of this Capitol, to be able to be placing their names. Today I ask for your favorable consideration of House Bill 303 to salute these great Americans. Mr. Speaker and members of this great body, I yield the well unless you have any questions.
The gentleman has no questions, but we do have some speakers.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative. The gentleman is yielded the well. Representative Adesanya is recognized to speak to the bill. Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, today I want to talk about House Bill 303. This is a bill close to my heart because it's about honoring 33 very important, extraordinary people. These were the first African American legislators elected to the Georgia General Assembly in 1868, just 3 years after the Civil War. Imagine the courage it took for these men, like Tunis Campbell, Henry McNeil Turner, and Philip Joyner, to step forward to serve in a time when the scars of slavery were still raw and the promise of equality was very, very fragile. They were elected by their communities, but that same year, their service was cut short because they were expelled from the General Assembly simply because of the color of their skin. This story is one of resilience and hope, but also one of injustice. For over 150 years, their contributions have been overlooked, their sacrifices forgotten. HB 303 is going to change that. It simply calls for a monument to honor the original 33, a lasting tribute to their courage, and a reminder of the progress we've made and the work still to be done. This monument isn't just about the past, it is about the future. It's about teaching our children the importance of representation, justice, and equality. It's about saying, we see you, we honor you, and your legacy matters. And let's be clear, this monument is going to be funded through private donors, not taxpayer dollars. It's a community effort to right a historical wrong and celebrate the pioneers who paved the way for so many of us, like myself. So I ask you to join me in supporting HB 303. Let us honor the original 33, not just for what they endured, but for what they achieved. Let's ensure their story is remembered, their sacrifices acknowledged, and their legacy celebrated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
Thank you. The gentleman has yielded the well. Representative Holly is recognized to speak to the bill. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Giving words to this moment today, I thought it best to remember the earlier eloquence of a time in which those members who themselves were members spoke their own truths. At this time, I would like to give voice to words that were spoken in the chamber of the House, not particularly in this building, but in the house that is in Milledgeville, of which my ancestor helped to build. Spoke this Henry McNeil Turner, founder of the Georgia Republican Party. Mr. Speaker, before proceeding to argue this question upon its intrinsic merits, I wish the members of this House to understand the position that I take. I hold that I am a member of this body. Therefore, sir, I shall neither fawn nor cringe before any party, nor stoop to beg them for my rights. Some of my colored fellow members, in the course of their remarks, took occasion to appeal to the sympathies of members of the opposite side and to eulogize their character for magnanimity. It reminds me very much, sir, of slaves begging under the lash. I am here to demand my rights and to hurl thunderbolts at the men who would dare to cross the threshold of my manhood. I claim the rights of a man. Am I not a man because I happen to be of a darker hue than honorable gentlemen around me? Let me see whether I am not. I want to convince the House today that I am entitled to my seat here. Am I a man? Have I a soul to save, as have you? Because God saw it fit to make some red, some white, and some black, and some brown, are we to sit here in judgment upon what God has seen fit to do? If you deny me the right of my constituents to have representation here, because it is a privilege, then, sir, I will show you that I have as many privileges as the whitest man on this floor. If I am not permitted to occupy a seat here for the purpose of representing my constituents, I want to know how white men can be permitted to do so. Never, so help me God, shall I be a political slave. I am not now speaking for those colored men who sit with me in this house, nor do I say that they endorse my sentiments, but assisting Mr. Lincoln, that is the president, to take me out of servile slavery did not intend to put me and my race into political slavery. If they did, let them take away my ballot. I do not want it and shall not have it. I don't want to be a mere tool of that sort. I have been a slave long enough already. The colored men who are unable to express themselves with all the clearness and dignity and force of rhetorical eloquence are laughed at in derision by the democracy of this country. It reminds me very much of the man who looked at himself in a mirror, imagining that he was addressing another person and exclaiming, "My God, how ugly are you?" These gentlemen do not consider for a moment the dreadful hardships with which these people have endured, and especially those who in any way are endeavored to acquire an education. You may expel us, gentlemen, but I firmly believe that you will someday resent it. The black man cannot protect the country if the country does not protect him. And if tomorrow a war should arise, I would not raise a musket to defend a country where my manhood is denied. The fashionable way in Georgia, when hard work is to be done, is for the white man of that time to sit at ease while the black man does the work. But I will say this much to the colored men of Georgia, as I should be killed in this campaign. I may have no opportunity of telling them at any other time. Never lift a finger nor raise a hand in defense of Georgia until Georgia acknowledges that you are men and invests you with the rights pertaining to manhood. Pay your taxes. However, obey all orders from your employers. Take good counsel from friends. Work faithfully. Earn an honest living, and by your conduct, you can be good citizens. You may expel us, gentlemen, by your votes, but today, while you do it, remember that there is a just God in heaven, whose all-seeing eye beholds alike the acts of the oppressor and the oppressed, and who, despite the machinations of the wicked, never fails to vindicate the course of justice and the sanctity of his own handiwork. I've concluded with Henry McNeil Turner's speech. Let's honor him by showing him that the Georgia that exists today is not the one of the past, because we can honor the blessings of our past by recognizing much greater truths today. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 303? The yeas are 167, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Congratulations. Thank you, members. Members, House Resolution 32 will be postponed to the next legislative day. For what purpose does Representative Carpenter rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion, sir.
Have a bill read for the first time and committed to sent to committee. Suspend the rules. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, you got it. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Carpenter the fourth and others be titled an act to amend Article 5, Chapter 3, Title 8 of the Fiscal Code of Georgia annotated relating to housing trust funds for the homeless.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? State Planning and Community Affairs. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions?
Honoring the life and memory of Artward Howard Jr. Recognizing and commending the Georgia Forestry Commission for serving the state of Georgia as an emergency response agency, commending Health for Healthcare Professionals, Inc., and recognizing February 24th, 2025 as HHCP Day at the state capitol. Congratulating Terry Holder upon his induction to the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame, recognizing and commending Devontae Jennings, recognizing and commending Keto Jamil, commending Shea Shikwa Nation, and recognizing February 24, 2025 as Shea Shikwa Nation Day. Recognizing, commending Matt Brinson, commending the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce on its 70th anniversary, honoring the Food Bank of Northeast Georgia for its mission of connecting neighbors with nourishing food, and congratulating and commending Caterpillar Inc. on its 100th anniversary. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolution.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. We'll move on to afternoon orders, right? Afternoon orders. Representative Wade. Is recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Neal, you're on deck. Why don't we, Representative Wade? Let me change a second. Let's recognize Representative Wade for her afternoon order first. I'm sorry, Representative Neal. I was looking at her and saying your name, Representative Yasmin Neal. Members, let's give the lady your attention, please. And some friends going to join her.
If the Clayton County delegation could join me.
Clayton County delegation. Give them just a moment. Clayton County delegation.
Thank you to the Speaker, colleagues. I rise today in support of a shooting that happened, in support of the Clayton County Police Department and an officer who was involved in a shooting on Tuesday of this week. Officer Kenyon Ford was involved in a shootout after a SWAT standoff in our county. He did survive. He is currently still in the hospital. The police department and the family, they do have a fundraiser going on for the officer, but we just wanted to come up here and make sure we gave the police department and our other first responders the acknowledgement that we support them, and we look forward to continuing to support them in this body. So if I have a moment of silence for the recovery of the officer and his family. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you, members. I'm sure that this House will continue to uplift that officer and his family in our prayers. Thank you, members. Okay, Representative Wade and friends, gentlemen's recognized for our really cool afternoon order. Gentlemen's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to my colleagues, I just think it's exciting when we get to come into this next month, March Madness. And I have to say, I'm very proud of the University of North Georgia women's Nighthawk basketball team who clinched their first place position in the Peach Belt Conference. They're regular season champions. They will be hosting round one and likely round two of the national tournament. And I'm just very proud of this team. And I'd like to, Mr. Speaker, recognize 5 seniors that have given their dedication to this university and this program. Carly Fahey, Emily Trushell, Dasha Cannon, Ansley Hall, and Livy Blackstock. And last but not least, to the impeccable and the amazing coach, Buffy Burson. She has just done phenomenal for that program. So way to go, Nighthawks. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, ladies. Win a few more. Bring it home. We'd love to have them down. Representative Roman is recognized for an afternoon order. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and colleagues. Ramadan Mubarak. I know it feels like it's starting earlier. That's because it is. Ramadan is starting this weekend. So for those who are going to be observing, including myself, that means abstaining from food and, yes, water. I will say that was definitely a record-breaking question-asking timing, so thank you to the gentleman that did earlier. But during this time, your constituents who are observing will be obviously fasting from food and water, but also engaging in more time doing prayers and being with family and friends. I would also like to invite any of you that are interested in fasting with me. You're welcome to. Would love to have you. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Representative Bell, you're recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to honor a prominent dentist of Black History Month. Dr. Roy Charles Bell, a prominent Atlanta dentist and civil rights activist, helped open the doors so African Americans could have proper access in health care at Grady Hospital. In 1962, he sued Grady in a federal case that led to the Atlanta Hospital and others nationwide to provide equal care. Bell versus Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authority desegregated hospitals in the state of Georgia and across the country. Dr. Bell moved to Atlanta after finishing dental school at Howard University. He was welcomed by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who opened it, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was the cousin of the dentist's wife, Clarice Mary Jetta White, and other civil rights leaders. He joined the efforts to end Jim Crow. Dr. Bell was one of the first African-American dentists to practice in Atlanta and did so from 1959 to 1979. He also served on the Commission of Human Rights and Fair Housing in Sacramento from 1981 to 1983, and the dental consultant in Rockville, Maryland from 1983 to 2003, after returning to this city. During the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. Bell served as the Special Projects Coordinator for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He protested, among other issues, the Peyton Road barricade that was erected to keep African Americans from moving to the white neighborhoods in Southwest Atlanta. He worked to end discrimination in the practices of his profession. 2, he filed a lawsuit in 1964 that led to the end of the segregation of the Georgia Dental Association and subsequently the American Dental Association. He wasn't the first Black dentist to join the organization, but in 1968 he was accepted into the fold. He and other civil rights leaders were invited to the White House to serve as the citation for President Lyndon B. Johnson for their efforts. In 1996, the Georgia State Senate passed a resolution to commend him on the desegregation work. He earned a law degree from Woodford Wilson College in the mid-1970s. He will forever be remembered as a father and a visionary and a civil rights activist who dared to stand against Jim Crow. Dr. Bell was mentioned in the 16th chapter of Dr. King's autobiography. It's devoted to the Albany movement, the terrible jail conditions, and the visitors that called on the civil rights leader. Soon, the Reverend M. Walker came over to Dr. Roy Charles Bell from Atlanta and Lowry Steele, and a writer from the Jet magazine. He inspected Ralph's teeth and said he would be arranged for the chief Pritchett to get us some food packages. I told him that we needed this because we would starve on the jailhouse food. Additionally, Dr. Bell is survived by his relatives who are here today to join us. Ava Bell Sanders is in our audience. Please stand. Thank you, Speaker. Are you at the well?
Representative Parsons is recognized for an afternoon order. Representative Chairman Parsons.
Thank you, Speaker. I am rising up here to speak, to take a Black History moment. I thought today was the last day. It actually ends tomorrow on March the 1st. But I rise in honor of a gentleman named Grant Gray. I knew him as Coach Gray. He was born in Pennsylvania. He became a basketball star up there. And then later, he moved down later after high school and in college, he moved down to West Virginia and played there at West Virginia State College, where I would eventually go to college at. It was segregated until about 1962, something like that. And I started there in 1965. But Coach Gray, like a lot of coaches, told great stories. And one story in particular I remember a lot of them, but one in particular I think of. And this is the story, and I think there's a lesson in it, probably more than one lesson. He said when he was a kid, growing up in the Depression, hard times, family couldn't buy shoes, there was some government agency that started providing some shoes for children. They had molded rubber soles. So his parents got him a pair of those shoes. He's just a kid in school. So he walks to school, the first day he has them, snow on the ground. He didn't know, or didn't really care as a kid, but on the bottom of that, the sole of that shoe, it was imprinted in the rubber. It was in there, the symbol of the federal agency that provided the shoes and the name of the agency. So some of the other kids, they saw that imprint in the snow as he was walking by, and they said, "Look at Gray, his parents can't even buy him shoes, they must be broke." Well, that hurt the little guy's feelings, of course, but he had warm, dry feet. But the thing of the story is, he said, by the end of the winter, every kid had those same shoes, and every one of them were making the same imprints in the snow. So I honor Coach Gray. He was a great coach. He had coached basketball for a long time. He had a stroke, and he was confined to a wheelchair, and the college then moved him over to coaching football. He had a great record in basketball, and he had a very good record in football, and I just rise to honor Coach Grant Gray. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Tran, now I want you to give this gentleman your attention. He's going to make himself look good right here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to take this moment, members of the Assembly, to wish my mom a happy birthday today. She's 2 years strong fighting lung cancer. But I also want to take this moment because her and I have been reminiscing about the last 50 years since she arrived in America. And the Vietnam War will commemorate its 50th anniversary on April 30th. So thank you to the members in this Assembly who fought in that war. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Happy birthday to your mom, and best of luck with her health challenges as well. That concludes our afternoon orders. We have a couple of pieces of business, and we'll get to them now. For what purpose does Representative Dickey rise?
Motion.
State your motion, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that HB 529 be recommitted back to Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
House Bill 529 by Representative Barrett of the 24th and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 13 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to contracts.
On the gentleman's motion, the House Bill 529 be recommitted to the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee. Is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. For what purpose does Representative Crowe rise?
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker.
State your motion.
I move that the rules be suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Unnumbered House Bill by Representative Crowe, the 118th and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 3 of Title 38 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to emergency management.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so a bill can be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Public Safety and Homeland Security. Representative Sharper. We're going to recognize him. I'm going to go back to afternoon orders. He had worked with me and moved his afternoon order from earlier this week till today, and my pardon, please, that I missed you. So Representative Sharper is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Speaker. I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. All right, that's all I'm going to do. But my moment in Black history is The Temptations are an American vocal group from Detroit, Michigan, who released a series of successful singles and albums with Motown Records during the 1960s and the 1970s, featuring 5 male vocalists and dancers. Otis Williams, who we actually had here last year during session, Elbridge Al Bryant, and Melvin Franklin, and Eddie Kendricks, and Paul Williams of the Primes. In 1964, Bryant was replaced by David Ruffin, who was the lead vocalist on a number of groups' biggest hits, including My Girl, Talking About My Girl, My Girl. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, 1966, and I Wish It Would Rain, 1967. Over the course of their career, the Temptations released 4 Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles and 14 R&B #1 singles, 3 classic Temptation songs, My Girl, Just My Imagination, and also Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for that good moment, and thank you for that excellent voice you have. Thanks for sharing that with us. That completes our afternoon orders, completes all the business we have for the day, other than a couple of announcements. Chairman Noel Williams is recognized for an announcement.
Banking will be Monday morning at 8 a.m. in room 406 CLOB. We need you there, 406 CLOB, 8 a.m. Monday morning. Thank you.
Representative Inga Willis is recognized for an announcement. Give the lady your attention, please.
Good morning, colleagues. Much to your delight, the Atlanta delegation will be meeting today at 2 o'clock in CAP 123. CAP 123. Let me know if you will be attending or if you can't. We'll be getting an update from our mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Vance Smith. Thank you, Representative Willis. Vance Smith is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Subcommittee of Resource Management on Natural Resources will have a meeting Monday afternoon at 1 p.m. We've got 3 bills, 2 of Representative Taylor's and 1 of Representative Corbett. We hope y'all will be there. I'm going to say room 606, and then I'll correct that. It's 415. 415 at CLOB at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Smith. Representative Stevens, Chairman Stevens, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On Monday, 8 a.m., room 415 at CLOB, we'll have a bill. Thank you.
Any more? That concludes. You have an announcement? Good. I wasn't going to recognize you anyway, but I'm just kidding. I think that concludes our members. Thank you for your attention today. I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. We had a good week. We debated some issues. We appreciate everyone's attention and their involvement. That's what this house is about. So I hope you'll go home and have a good weekend. Enjoy your families. Take care of yourselves. And we'll be back here Monday morning to attend to the people's business. Okay, Mr. Majority Leader, I'm going to recognize you for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday, March 3rd, 2025.
On the motion of the Majority Leader of this House, that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Monday, a new month, March the 3rd, 2025, Monday, March 3rd, 2025. All those in favor will say aye. And opposed will say no. You noes have to work on that a little bit. The ayes clearly have it. This House stands adjourned. Thank y'all. Don't forget your pages. All members who have a page.